Oh man, did everything just crash on me? All right, and we are live because the world ended just like it's going to on Halloween out here with the Ghastly Hallows. Today I'm accompanied by...
It's Red.
And Spooky Bolt here.
Yes, and meanwhile, the Silver Shamrock song just refuses to play for anybody for any reason. Which is oh look, there it goes. Because much like the situation in this film, this song has a mind of its own. Give me 1 second, I'm going to solve that problem right.
It's almost time, kids.
Now.
The clock is ticking. In front of your TV.
There we go. Please don't make me shoot you too like I did the sound. Because much like the... There. That ought to eliminate the sound.
Oh, we just experienced a time slip.
Did we?
I mean, I did. It meant something to me.
That time
And that's
slip.
all that matters.
Oh, boy. So, everybody, we are back today. I don't know if we're still hosting a talk show here this week, but we are back on the Ghastly Hallows with our Halloween extravaganza. Because it's spooky October time, and although we are a horror podcast, we've been slacking. Yeah! And I don't know about y'all, but for Halloween, I feel like I'm in the mood for a good trick this week. So, today's subject is Halloween 3. We get Michael Myers back in the chair, right? That's what's happening here. This is the third movie with Michael Myers back in the chair going around slaughtering people. That's what the ad said, right? Right? Halloween 3 season of witch.
I couldn't believe it when I looked into the advertising history of this movie.
Oh, so
Where they like didn't make it clear that this isn't about Michael Myers.
So you mean to tell me Michael Myers is not in this film?
I didn't want you to find out like this. I'm sorry. But no, Michael Myers is not in this film, except when the previous films are kind of referenced in a very meta way.
Womp womp.
Oh.
So, no Michael, but plenty of masks. That's pretty much the only theme that connects these movies.
Just the masks. That's it?
Just the masks. And not even the same masks. Just masks. Which is actually, I think, maybe not a coincidence because the writer and director of this movie, Halloween 3, is the guy, Tommy Lee Wallace. He is the guy that made the original mask for the first Halloween film.
You mean he's the guy who found the Captain Kirk mask and then spray painted it white?
Exactly.
Why the hell does that song keep coming back? Well, you know what? That happens in the movie
Oh,
a
no.
lot.
Are we in the movie? That's exactly what happens in the movie. Hold on. I knew this was eventually going to happen. We were going to be messing with these horror movies too much, and eventually one of them was going to suck us in.
Well, of all the cool ones, why the hell did we have to get this
I
one?
warned you about this.
You know what? By the end of the movie, I was screaming a lot like my dear old daddy Tom Atkins in that one. Stop it!
Well,
Stop it! I think he was just having a meltdown hearing that song for like the 100th time.
Can you blame him, though?
They're like, oh, shut it off. Please just shut it off. Please stop it. There's not enough time anymore in the movie. The audience can't take it anymore. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it.
Hold on. I think we're still having technical issues. Hold on. Can you actually hear me?
Yes.
I
We
can hear you.
you.
Loud and clear.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear yourself?
No.
Now I don't hear you.
Wait, what?
Now we hear you.
Okay, one of you hears me, one of you doesn't.
We
You know
both hear you.
Hold on.
Okay, testing. Can you hear
These are the
this?
things we're supposed to
Happy,
do
happy
off air,
Halloween,
Bolt.
Halloween, Halloween, happy, happy
I
Halloween.
think I need a new headset.
I turned it off. Turn
Wait.
it off. Stop it.
What's wrong with this stupid thing?
Dear God.
All right, you should not be able to hear me now.
Off air,
Halloween,
Bolt.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
Okay, now you just messed with me. All right.
We hear you. What the hell are you holding up production for?
No, okay, just keep going. Keep going. Something's wrong with my headset.
What else is there to discuss?
Yeah, seriously, we hear you. I'm pretty sure you're on audio. If anybody out there listening, I see we have people viewing. If you can hear Bolt the android, please let him know. He's currently on vacation here from his stint in Alien Requiem. We just need to know if you can hear him or not. Yes, I said that. Go watch that movie. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Anyway.
Wait. Hold on. The fact that we knew that Bolt was an android, that we've known that for a while, should have tipped us off that we've been in this movie for even longer than this episode. You're working for Cochrane, aren't you?
Crap, my card isn't blown.
I plead the fifth.
All right, execute
I
plan
plead
B.
the fifth. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just been infiltrated by the organization of Colonel Cochrane. His plan to distribute the silver shamrock masks, and everybody here is now laughing. Oh, crap. They're coming. Ladies and gentlemen, they're trying to shut us down. Oh, man, that's what that hobo was saying, wasn't he? He's like, they fired me, and then they hired a bunch of people outside.
And what did they do after that?
They murdered him brutally.
They literally ripped his head off.
He
That
was a
was
tough
so
guy until the last 10 seconds of his life.
And what a perfect symbolic killing for someone who knows too much, for their head to be ripped off.
Man, he was already unemployed, homeless, and drunk.
And he still didn't learn his lesson, did he? He should have shut the fuck up. He should have taken Tom Atkins' alcohol and shut up. No, he still had to go and go, hey, Cochrane, suck on this, buddy, to the camera. It's like, oh, yeah, dude, you're asking for it at this point.
Yeah, if he had just followed that 6 o'clock curfew, none of this would have happened.
He did. They showed up at his little hut, and they scared him out.
It was past 6 o'clock.
Not only was it past 6 o'clock, he was also not indoors. He was in an outside hut. Once again, asking for it. He was asking for it.
Oh my god.
No, but before they killed him, he should have pulled out a piece of the legislation that enacted the curfew and just started quibbling about what counts as inside or outside. It's like, before you kill me, you're going to have to call another town hall meeting.
I'm pretty sure that robot doesn't give two shits. That robot was going to go for it anyway.
Yep.
But no. But robots are bound entirely by the rules.
Tell that to this robot over here that apparently has malfunctioning on his stuff all the time.
Look, this is what happens when you go out of state and don't take proper precautions on the way back. I'll gladly do it again.
Anyway, so I hope you all out there have watched this movie, because none of this discussion has made any sense for any of you that haven't seen this movie.
Not only does it not make any sense, we haven't really started talking about it, really. I mean, if anything, I'll start off with a bit of the backdrop of this one. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. The film that I like to say a rose by any other name would have been this sweet. Because putting Halloween 3, I believe, was the death nail on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really good film. I enjoyed this one more than the million Michael Myers sequels that were to follow. I thought this one was a very original piece. I liked the masks, I liked the setting and the backdrops, and even the lore that they put into it. It was more Halloween-y than the other Halloween films. What do you guys think of that?
Right. More centered on the themes of the holiday itself rather than just taking place on the night of the holiday.
Yeah, like Halloween, the holiday is the set piece. It's not the backdrop with this one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
The
Yeah.
masks were cool. I liked the masks. I liked the kids, the way that kids are like always flocking to just get whatever they can get or the latest trend on Halloween. And it's still a thing that happens nowadays. Like how many of us go around on Halloween and we see the same people wearing the same costumes all the time?
They at least more convincingly uh, gave us a sense of autumn than the original Halloween film because this broke my heart when it was pointed out to me. But if you look at the trees lining the streets in the original Halloween film, all of them have their leaves on them, and the lawns are just kind of sprinkled with brown and red leaves. It's just,
And you can also see palm trees in the background too.
oh, right.
I'm telling you, this film was filmed in California, not in Chicago, folks. Not in Illinois. This is not a Midwestern film, really. It's shot in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is actually shot in the West Coast and takes place in the West Coast, oddly enough.
When you put it like that,
It's still my favorite. It's still my favorite horror movie, but interesting little production glitches that you can observe.
Oh yeah, no, it's I love Halloween, the classic, but this one I preferred it over its sequels moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
This one, and what's awesome is I would have liked to have known what happened after the credits rolled on this one, but I didn't need to. To me, it's like, okay, we can figure out what happens. We don't need to know what happens to these kids.
Yeah.
After the fact.
I love the ending
Mm-hmm.
because it leaves you with one last genuine scare.
Yep.
Yeah, where it's like you don't know what's going to happen. I like things that are left up to the imagination.
Yeah.
Like that.
And honestly, fuck them kids.
It's not the kids. It's the adults. It's the adults that buy the kids the masks and that advertise the masks to the kids.
Yeah, but they're the main target. Fuck them kids.
Is that the title of the episode?
I hate the kids is the title of the episode.
okay, we need that still image of Michael Jordan with that phrase. I hate them kids.
Fuck them
We need
kids.
that right now.
But in all seriousness, like that's the whole plot of this movie. That isn't that like the guy's ultimate motivation. Fuck them kids.
He's a trickster.
Yeah, he's like, oh, but you're gonna kill a bunch of innocent people. Fuck them kids. This will be funny.
That was it. I'm not gonna lie. I passed out a couple points during this film, and
God damn it! You know, Bolt, you just don't get it, do you?
it was so nonsensical.
Here we go.
Look, the beginning of it. You know what? No. I'm not gonna dig into it right now. Let's get.
This always happens. This always happens with me and Bolt.
Yeah.
The movies that I like, Bolt doesn't like. The movies that Bolt likes, I don't like.
Okay, this one is a hard thing to like.
Why is it hard to like, Bolt? How dare you besmirch the name of Tom Atkins on this show? Right?
Tom Atkins was giving Magnum PI vibes, and I could not get that out of my head throughout this whole movie.
He's a doctor, not a cop in this one. Magnum PI, Tom Atkins was Night of the Creeps. Get your movie straight.
I never seen either of them. But yeah, his mustache and the way he just like goes from one woman to another in like a blink of an eye.
He's
Like,
smooth. All right, and it's the 80s. It's cool to see a guy bang a bunch of women and not get Me Too'd yet. All right?
Okay, look, he went from dropping off his kids to his divorced wife, who is honestly, I did not care for her. Like, I honestly,
You're not supposed to. She's supposed to be the frustrated ex. It's the 80s. They're supposed to be an old, frustrated hag who hates him because he's still fine and good looking and gets laid, and she's a miserable old maid. That's what it's supposed to be like.
He hit on the nurse, the morgue assistant, or whoever she was, and then some random widower.
And they were all hot. weren't they? And he tapped one on the ass
Not
too
all of them.
randomly.
Not the nurse. Not the nurse. That's what I was surprised at. And that was the first one.
A hole's a hole, Bolt. That's how it goes. You're a robot. You're not human. You don't
There,
understand.
there was the moment which wouldn't hold up, or maybe might not hold up in a movie today, where he asks a woman how old she is after he sleeps with her.
I thought it was Jerry.
That was great.
That was Jerry.
when he asks her, how old are you? And she says, "Don't worry, I'm older than I look." I thought that was going to be foreshadowing.
That's red flags in my book.
Yeah, well, I mean that yes, like not directly answering the okay, yes. So if this were real life, I wouldn't say it was foreshadowing. I would say I need to get the hell out of there.
You call your
Go
lawyer.
back to my hospital.
No, just call your lawyer. You've been drinking on the job. There's
Okay,
no way
yes.
you're going to go back to your hospital at this point.
Yeah. Okay, no, but I thought that was going to be foreshadowing, where I thought it was going to turn out that she was an android the whole time.
I
You know what I mean?
was actually
Where-
wondering about that. Was she an
Yeah.
android the whole time? Do you guys?
Well,
think
so yeah, I was trying to make sense out of that, and it just wouldn't. I don't think she was, because it just wouldn't make sense in the context of the rest of the movie, because it's like, why would she bring him to Santa Mira to find out about all of this stuff and then sabotage it? Like, it just wouldn't make any sense, you know?
Yeah, I feel that when she went missing, that's when they killed her and replaced the body.
Yes. Yeah.
When they were showing him all of
Yeah.
this stuff, that's when they did it. That's when the swap
Right.
happened.
Also, a robot does not get cold and unrealistically try to grab a towel / the bed sheets all in like 5 seconds after a shower. That was supposed to be burning hot. How do you go for a burning hot shower?
Right. What?
Take one step
And
and see
also,
the-
yeah. The possibility of her having been an android the whole time makes me wonder if she's like, if she was an android the whole time, then it must be the case that she's like Data on Star Trek, in that she's fully functional.
Giggity.
Giggity.
All right, fully functional. That's what that doctor was. Dr. Quagmire versus the androids. That's what this movie is.
Dr. Quagmire. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm sorry, like every
Oh!
Oh, right. Wait a minute. I'm surprised he didn't go up to like, wait a minute. Are you a
We're-
fully
we're-
functional
we're
android?
like- Huh?
I'm surprised when she turned on him, like, wait, hold on. Are you a fully functional android? Then
Yeah,
I just wanna know.
Hold on a sec. Yeah. First
All
question
right.
is, how old are you? Second question is, are you an android? And are you fully functional?
Act like,
Right.
can you catch an
Well-
STD from an android?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
We were just doing some old school Family Guy references. I don't think Quagmire has made any of those noises for like 10 seasons.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's a
think
shame.
him hating Brian got rid of that, but I digress.
Mm.
Oh, that's a shame. I liked Me Too, Quagmire.
Quagmire. Oh no!
Grown up forever with Me Too, Quagmire.
I think he would survive.
I
He would have, yes, in this whole thing. Technically, Dr. Quagmire does make it out to the bitter end, doesn't he?
There were like 3 fake out deaths where I was like, "You're not killing him. Come on."
There are no, in that last scene, there are no masks present in the room, right?
No, weren't the kids wearing the masks?
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids.
No, I
Yeah.
mean at the gas station.
Yeah, the kids at the gas station. They walked in.
Yeah.
They were trick or treating. They were wearing the masks.
Yeah.
Who trick or treat at a gas station? That
Sir,
is.
you do not
Don't
know.
don't you dare say it's the 80s. No, even in the 80s, kids don't trick or treat at a gas station.
Yeah, they do. I've seen them do it out here in a gas station once in a blue.
But they're just selling drugs. Come on, let's
No, like I'm
just
actually
peddle
not
drugs.
lying to you. Like when you don't have a solid neighborhood, you just go to the local store, walk in, and the guy usually has something right there, and he gives it to you. That's how I was introduced to Chinese candy when I was a kid. Like you go to the city walk, and they have something there, and they give it to you with like a quarter. I'm like, all right, cool, thank you. You eat the melon candy that sucks, but you got a quarter out of it.
Right.
4 of those things add up to $1. You can go buy in Arizona after you're done eating it to wash the taste down.
Sounds nice.
All right,
Just had
so
gang violence.
I have a geeky bone to pick with this movie. Even though I overall really like it, I like the sort of sci-fi aspect of it. I like how it kind of feels more like a John Carpenter movie than the original than the first 2 Halloweens do, because when you look at stuff that John Carpenter directed after those first 2 Halloween movies, it often has some sort of sci-fi element. It often has some sort of satiric or high concept aspect to it. It doesn't feel like the sort of like hyper localized events or just sort of like simple scares of the original Halloween. He always kind of like turns it up to, okay, well, here's some big ideas that I'm playing with. It interestingly like feels more like a John Carpenter movie, even though he did not direct it. Anyway, so
but I thought he had a hand in this one though.
Oh, he did. He was producer. He wrote one of the rewrites of the original script. And it was actually him and Deborah Hill that I think it was, they said that they would only agree to produce if Michael Myers was not in it. And they saw this as turning into an anthology series, kind of like The Twilight Zone, but at the feature film level, where it was a series of it was a film franchise but anthologized, in that like every movie would have a different plot, different characters.
Yeah, did you know he actually did write a script for Halloween 3 with Michael Myers on purpose to get rejected?
Oh, interesting.
I've read it, and
in order to sabotage the character so he wouldn't have to deal with it anymore.
Pretty much as a please leave me alone, don't ask me to come back. This is what I have here.
So you said that you've read it.
Yeah, I've read it. There's 2 proposed scripts for Halloween 3 out there, but I made a point to look for the one that he wrote, because there's one big event that happens in it, which is just asinine. But once again, right, there's like somebody writing something who's telling you, please, please, please go away. Don't bother me anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, so the way Michael Myers is resurrected in that one.
Anyway, so I have a geeky bone to pick with this
pick
movie.
Your bone.
Okay, I shall pick my bone. Watch me pick my bone. Okay. Anyway, so the Stonehenge connection. Now, the connection between the Celts, so the ancient Celts in Britain and Stonehenge is often assumed, but it is historically inaccurate, because Stonehenge predates the arrival of the Celts to Britain by about 1,000 years. So it definitely wasn't the Celts that built any of it. And so the movie assumes that connection because Cochrane and the entire town of Santa Maria are of Irish heritage, and they're trying to reenact some aspect of the Samhain ritual by including a piece of Stonehenge into every little trademark on the masks. So the film falls into a common trap, but again, still a good movie.
I wish they would have known that before they stole the entirety of Stonehenge and somehow managed to smuggle it to California.
They just took one. They just took one stone.
They took one of the. That's still a lot of effort, man.
I mean, it's a large stone. Like, we don't know how the original people, the Paleolithic people, moved those stones. Let alone figure out like how that would be, how they would have snuck that out.
Yeah, that's still one of the mysteries of the
that
modern
field.
age, isn't it? Like, how
Yeah,
did they
yeah.
move Stonehenge like that?
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah. That's another part of the movie that's kind of so Bolt. I will give you one of the a slight weakness in the movie is how they kind of just gloss over the whole thing about how they moved the one stone in Stonehenge, because when when Cochrane explains how they did it, he just says, "You won't believe how we did it," and that's the end of it.
Yeah, good.
It's like,
It's a cop out, but
part
it's
of me
like,
kind of, well, I mean, maybe part of me kind of likes that because it's sort of like, well, I mean, we don't really need to know that, but that's all right. But that had me thinking about like the difference between movies and novels, because that wouldn't fly in a novel. Someone couldn't just say that in a novel, because with a novel, like, you're spending more time on it. You're a bit more invested in it, if only because it just takes more time and brain energy to read a novel. So if I read that in a novel, especially if it were like close to the climax of the novel, I'd be like, wait, hold on, no. We're not going to do that here. You need to explain to me how that happened, Stephen King, or whoever's writing the novel.
Stephen King would literally come to your house and tell you, I don't have to explain anything to you. My truck's moved in a movie and it still made money. You can just keep on wandering and walk away.
Yes, Stephen King does go to fans' houses individually and berates them for criticizing his work, and still manages to write like 17 novels every year.
Yeah, I've heard that he has the Energizer Bunny energy, if you know what I mean. You know,
he used to have a cocaine problem.
That's what I was hinting at. I was trying to be nuanced with it. But yes,
was I not supposed to say that?
He did cocaine. Stephen King was high on cocaine a lot of the time. He also wrote a guy getting murdered in his stories to mock a guy that ran him over with his car one time. There we go. Mystery solved. God,
is that guy still alive?
I mean, some authors have their muse. Some authors have their pettiness.
And some authors have
whichever inspires you.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Stephen King has a big cocaine problem. That's why Stephen King writes weird things.
Yeah. See it.
Yes, please go see it.
No. No. Actually, better to see it than to read it.
No, you're better off reading it. You're right.
No.
I get to the traumatic part where the kids are trapped inside of its lair. You'll understand why you should have read it instead of seeing the movie.
This is why we have the FCC for a reason. This is why.
Well, that's why we don't have the FCC for books, Bolt. I know someone out there who likes to read vampire smut porn. They like to watch ogres make out and stuff in their movies and their books, and they're proud of it. All right?
That's they're not even here to defend themselves.
That's a thing.
We all know what someone means when they say, I know someone who ...
Yes, pumpkin.
Well, they're usually a member of our chat around here, but they're not here today. So that person would gladly agree that, yes, there are plenty of people who read fairy smut, ogre smut, donkey smut, and all other kinds of smut out there, and they're all proud of it. All right?
So the more you went down that list, the less legal it sounded.
Yeah.
It's not illegal. It's out there. They're in forums, and they talk, and they chill and shit. And now, because of those people, haunt actors are starting to tell folks, don't touch. We're supposed to be scary. All right? The big guy with the chainsaw and the muscles is scary, not hot. Don't touch. You didn't think that would be an issue, but it's an issue now.
No. That actually was an issue when I was a haunt actor. Now, sadly, not with me.
You dodged a bullet. Rhett, you dodged a bullet.
See, we have Dr. Tom Atkins right here. He was smooth enough, but just not smooth enough with the haunt costume on.
Maybe I should have dressed like a doctor. I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe it
look,
was the
everyone
costume.
knows that, like, if you dress either as a doctor, a lawyer, and I think the third one, a drug dealer. Yeah, there we go. Those three professions will always land you.
Wait. Doctor, lawyer, or what?
A
Drug
drug
dealer.
dealer.
Oh, drug dealer.
My
Is drug
question-
dealer a profession?
Yes. Yes, it is.
What? Hold on. No. There is a Simpsons episode where Bart is writing on the chalkboard, "Bagman is not a viable profession." So
Well, as someone that is a blue-collar person, I would be very offended if someone said that job wasn't a viable profession, when plenty of people do bagman work.
well, you can blame Mrs. Krabobble.
Nah, Mrs. Crabapple. Ain't she dead now?
The actress is passed away. Yes.
Wasn't she like
Yeah, I
killed
was like,
off
I
in the
think
show
I saw
too?
something
though?
recently.
Sorry.
Didn't they
Oh,
kill her
the
off in
character.
show, too?
I don't know.
They killed her off in the show too. Miss Crabapple was
Yes.
killed off in the show.
Yes, they did. They did. Yeah.
I wasn't
there's-
referring to the real actress. That's not cool. I was referring to Miss Crabapple, the character
Next
who
time.
they had a
Hey.
very cute send
Be
off
more
for.
clear. Be more
She's
clear.
dead, isn't she?
She's dead.
She's 6 feet under. She croaked, eh?
Shit. All right, back to Halloween.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That I just said what you meant, man. You're the bad one here.
You know what? Yes, I meant it. I meant it. Ladies and gentlemen, I meant it. I meant to hurt Marcia Wallace's family by referring to Edna Krabappel in such a horrible way, according to my two co-hosts. That's true. That's right. So I actually wanted to ask you guys another thing about this one.
Sure.
What did you guys think of the kills in this movie?
They were gruesome. And I was just like, I just felt bad for the people that were getting killed during this process. And that's like, geez. They literally did nothing wrong. And they were just getting killed in the most brutal fashion. But I was like, yeah, better than not me.
Oh no. The gore was turned up. You know, it wasn't unbearable. Though the eye gouging made me like squirm in my chair. So
I mean, what's it really eye gouging? It felt more like a skull gouging. Like he like pressed into his eye sockets and then comes the skull. I'm like that's new.
So I mean, whether it was eye gouging or eye gouging as a means to skull crushing, it was disturbing.
Kind of found that fascinating. I'm not gonna lie. I'm just like, this is a first one.
Yeah. And like in that first kill that you're talking about, when he squeezes the face in, the aftermath makes the face almost look like a loose mask. Like he turned the guy's head into a mask.
Yeah.
I thought he took his face for a second. Like, wait a minute, this is the wrong movie for that. No, he just crushed it. Because I'm like,
Turns out it was John Travolta.
Because it looked like he was like taking his face off.
Hey,
and
I
was
just
like,
want
no,
to take
that's the
your
wrong
face. It'll be funny, right? Yeah. Take his face away. That'll be a great time for everybody. I'm not gay.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
I just took his face
Tell me more. Tell me more.
and I spread up his bones.
I don't get these references.
Oh man. But no, in all fairness, my favorite one was that lady with the mask. The misfire on the chip.
Oh, the pin kill. Oh man.
I'm like, you know what sucks about that is I could see that someone actually going that way by accident. Like, do you remember when the Samsungs were blowing up on people a couple years ago?
Okay, look, that was a factory defect. This lady had a decided for some weird reason to take out a bobby pin and like fiddle with something that she had no business fiddling with, and then it took her face off.
So what she was trying to do was prove a point that there was an issue with quality. So by being able to prove that there's an issue with quality control, she would be able to turn around and be like, yeah, check it out. These things are all kind of screwed up. Like, you gave me a bad shipment. That's what she was trying to gain, like, the proof of that. So when this thing was loose, she's like, what the hell? Why is there a chip in this? Because, like, in all seriousness, like, why would there be a chip inside the sticker, right? Like, there really shouldn't be a chip inside the sticker like that. So she was looking at it because I think even her own kid had one of these things, and then that's when it misfired because she got closer than she really should have.
Right.
She fiddled with it though. It's just like it's one thing to notice.
That's why she got hurt, because she fiddled with it. Like I actually felt bad for her because she was doing the right thing. Like, if you find something that's defective, you're supposed to check it out, especially if you're a merchant. You're supposed to check the merchandise, because if some kid gets hurt, it's not just the company that's going to pay for it. You're responsible, because you're also responsible for checking the quality of merchandise. I don't know if you knew that.
Okay, so there should be. So the way you fix that though is you put 2 warnings on the label. 1, choking hazard. 2, ancient supernatural power hazard.
Is it ancient supernatural? It just felt like it channeled the power of Grayskull, and it just misfired. It didn't kill her, supposedly. I'm like, how are you not dead from that? Like, you took ample amount of lightning to the face, and there's like, oh no, we'll go to the factory, it'll be fine. I'm like, what? We have a drunk doctor here, and he can even tell.
Oh no, dude, she was dead.
I think that might be the title of the episode: ample amount of lightning to the face.
But no, she was dead though. They were just taking her to the factory to cover up the corpse. Like, she didn't make that. That's why when she's still twitching, because you don't die from a fucking hit like this and it chews out your mouth. You're still around, but she's like, they're taking her to the hospital. They're like, all right, cool, and then that's it. You're done. You're not gonna complain anymore.
No, and you get more of that creepy sense of just like the grip that Cochran has over this whole town when when the ambulance comes and they say they're taking her to the factory to be treated. I was like, what the? You can do reconstructive surgery at your factory? What is this?
No, what's funny is he lied that way too, though. Like, when you pay attention to exactly what he says, like, because he at that point he knew to do his doctor. He looks at him, he's like, yes, no, marvelous facilities, clean, healthy, perfect for a quick emergency until they can actually ship her to a real hospital to get some help.
Mm-hmm.
Do not worry, she is in good care. I'm like, motherfucker, you are a hell of a salesman. I believe you. At least I want to believe you, but I know you're full of shit. But I want to believe you.
Honestly, there was nothing much that doctor could have done, because honestly, like, he just had 2 rounds of sex. He would have pushed his luck trying to get the truth. I'm like, dude, you barely made it through round 2, and you want to be like Mr. Detective when the jailbait possibly is trying to get you killed at an inopportune time. No, just go back inside.
Your mind's not right after that. You gotta wait.
Actually, no. That's even funnier. His mind was in the right place, because after this, when they hear the giant brr, she's like, "What was that?" I don't care. Giggity. He went right back into it. Who cares? And he went right back to doing his potentially underage sex.
How is he the hero of the story? How?
Not all heroes are human, and they're not all perfect. They're layered, deep characters. Exactly. Okay, that's why.
This man also got that what was it? That morgue assistant killed too, by dragging her in this mess. That poor woman. She just wanted a nice date, even though she knew that she was not going to get a nice date out of it. But she'll get something. But all she got was death.
In all fairness, as a man who respects that women are allowed to do whatever they want to do, she should have held out for more. but she was willing to risk her life for some food, and that's on her. That's not on you. All right. She should have held out for more. And I know plenty of women that would have said the same shit. Really? You're going to go stay pulling all-nighter for some good food? What are you going to feed you? Filet mignon, some fucking lobster? Like, you better go home. That dick ain't that good.
He's a doctor.
By my language.
He's a doctor in the 80s, so he could afford that and then some.
That guy could barely afford his child support. Did you see what he got those kids for Halloween?
Yeah, what kind of doctor is he? How can he not afford good costumes for his children?
Plastic masks. Can you believe that?
They weren't even they were like the crappy, like not even like the real plastic. They were like the ones that have the little thing across. Like if I were a kid,
the little string, the little elastic string, and they break after the first year. They just start to crumble.
Okay, he's a terrible father, but I want to know how good of a doctor he is because
worst Halloween and Christmas ever.
Worst ever.
Worst Halloween ever.
Oh my god!
You don't sell those masks in my store.
You know what's the best part about it is that I can imagine him going. It's the 80s. I can imagine him going into a drugstore, buying that, and then the guy looking at him like, as soon as he's ringing him up, that sarcastic look. Worst Halloween ever. Get out of my store. Get out of my store.
I think there should be a Treehouse of Horror episode where comic book guy drives down to Santa Mira to complain about the shipment of masks.
Oh my god. Yes, that would have been so great.
Mr. Cochran, worst shipment ever. I will not sell these in my store. I demand a refund or a replacement order.
You know what the worst part is? He would give you that replacement order, but he'd just kill you on the way out the door. Isn't that what he did to that lady? Like, he was asking for a replacement, but he gave it to her, but he killed her anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what the heck? They're just going to kill her. Don't give her the false sense of hope.
He also killed that family for absolutely no fucking reason.
I mean, no. That family needed to go. That kid was an asshole.
All right, so let's get.
Yeah, that made it okay. I think maybe that was by design. If you're gonna kill a kid, you need to make the kid unlikable.
Yeah, because fuck them kids, right?
Yep.
Again. All right, you know what? I'm gonna get into it. His whole motivation in this movie.
Please, nobody take that out of context. My statement of if you're gonna kill a kid, you have to make the kid unlikable. I'm talking about writing a movie.
Well, you know what? I'm
not advocating for the ritual sacrifice of brats.
Speak for yourself. All right,
Red. I'm going to give you a shovel.
My planet.
I am. Let's be clear. I am.
Red, I'm giving you a shovel because it'll help you dig your own grave easier.
Let's just put it like this: there is no room in society for misbehaved, bratty children. And as far as we move along in time, I fought a child, and it felt good. So,
okay,
felt good. I fought a child, and it felt good.
There's an AA song I found about that. I fought a child. So but anyways,
worst rewrite ever.
I'm still sitting here. I'm like, wait a minute. So this guy actually is going to murder this kid and his family, and they're like his best salesman. What a douche.
Yeah. After he gave them a whole, he forced that whole room to, applaud for them. I'm like, those poor workers. Like, they didn't ask for this. Unless they did, in which case, fuck the workers, too.
Oh, the workers knew. The workers, everyone there's a part of it. That whole factory was androids. Everyone in that factory was an android. I don't know if you noticed that. That's why, that hobo guy's like, yeah, he fired everyone, then he brought in a bunch of people to work there.
I didn't notice. After when the hobo died, I lost a lot of will.
When they had, the egg yolk coming out of their mouths.
Yeah, they were all...
Telltale android.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All of them were androids. It was all a farce. He has that set up on purpose. I think the only ones that may have been human in the entire equation may have been the scientists. And that was it.
Oh. I thought there were androids too, because at the end, when did the monolith like appear exactly? Because like when I woke up, I just see a monolith shooting out lightning and then scientists dying in a circle. I'm like,
Yeah, so
what?
those
This is referencing a lot here.
so that's when it was the great giveaway. That's when you started it. So I think the scientists were human. I think the grunt workers, the people who were like he sent to go clean up the cars, those shipment yard folks,
The assassins.
they're all androids, I think. Because he makes a weird comment like it's expensive, but it's a lot easier to make than this, and it's part to do that he's like a good he's a good smith in crafting things. Although realistically it's way more expensive to make a bunch of androids with AI and automated things to run your factories as opposed to just paying a bunch of people to look the other way. I mean, that's just me, my thoughts on that. But I wanted to get to the motivation of this movie, which is ultimately Connell Cochran talks about the history and the origins of Halloween, right? Like Halloween, he's like, you thought no further than to dress up like. It's funny. He sounds like Boris. The fuck is that guy's name?
Boris Karloff.
No, the dude who sings the
Monster
Mash.
Mash? I was working in the Boris Pickett.
There you go. He sounds like Boris Pickett.
I was working in the lab late one night when my eyes beheld an eerie sight. I can do the whole thing. From my monster from the slab began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise, come on, boys,
The mash.
he did the monster mash.
And then the mash.
It was a graveyard smash.
And then the mash.
It caught on in a flash.
And then the mash.
I can't finish because of copyright infringement.
I'm
I'm very tempted to play that.
But no, like in all seriousness, like he goes there like, you thought no further than the act of wearing costumes and asking strangers for candy. Never did you think of what Halloween really is. The last true celebration. A bloodbath where the hills ran red. You know what's awesome too is as he's doing this, you get the really good Halloween theme in the background. That's the one that I genuinely did like as he's giving that monologue. And I'm like, wait a minute. So you're telling me I'm going to play a joke, a trick on all of the children. It'll be amazing. And that guy's like, wait, you're sick. Like, bro, you're sick. You're sick. What the fuck is wrong with you?
See, I feel like now, like with this guy being in existence, is like you have two sides of the spectrum. You have people that love kids, and then you have him. It's like two different extremes. It's like
just fuck them kids.
I'm like, there should have been a better solution than like let's just commit suicide.
That's like the whole point of this one. It's like that's his whole motivation. I'm going to kill a bunch of kids because this is funny. I'm not gonna be around for the punchline, but trust me, I find the idea of all these kids dropping dead on Halloween night to be some of the funniest shit on the planet, and you're all gonna laugh with me when you see it. Everyone's gonna take a bite when I kill all these kids on Halloween. You're like,
oh man,
how do I stop this?
Yeah, honestly, it's like he won. Like you could not stop me. Like whether or not it played out fully, like giving us a definitive conclusion, he won. Like all intents and purposes, he won because he didn't lose.
No, he didn't lose. He won that one. Like he even dies with a smile on his face. It's over. Like no one wanted to pull that commercial. He'd been running that awful commercial for like a whole month nonstop.
Yeah.
Like
you had two stations that believed the doctor. I'm just like, wait, how does a guy rambling on the phone get enough credibility from most, like 2 out of 3 stations? I'm like, how?
It was the 80s. And
no, honestly, he was a lunatic.
No, but honestly, back in the day, you'd be surprised how many crazy things happened regarding signal broadcast intrusions and people making crazy ass phone calls that things got pulled while on air to avoid problems. You ever hear the Max Headroom incident? Red, you ever hear the Max Headroom incident?
I haven't. No. What is that?
Some guy in Chicago infiltrated the airwaves, and basically he put on a Max Headroom mask, and he started to do pranks while interrupting the broadcast signal. And they still haven't caught the guy. It's happened like in like the late 80s, early 90s, and they still never caught the guy. And he was like, I'm gonna kick your ass or something, like on national TV. Like he interrupted the brainwaves, and then like he had somebody bent over sharing their ass spanking the TV and shit. So like yeah, like believe it or not, TV is not as impenetrable as we like to think it is. It's very easy for back in the day, even more so, because back in the day you didn't have to call the channel, you had to call the local broadcasting operator. And if the local broadcasting operator was brought to alert to something, they would step in and at least locally kill the call or whatever, kill the broadcast. So that thing, like, he might have been able to save at least some of the people in California, but he wasn't going to be able to save the people in Chicago, Texas, London. He wasn't going to be able to save them. That was going to be too late. But at least he was trying to shut it down locally, because that's how it used to be back in the day. Like at the end of the day, I pointed out Cochran won because there was no way you were going to save everybody. That was a lot. Like by the time this dude found out this shit was way into production, it was too late. His kids had a piece of those masks. His miserable wife didn't even want to like get rid of the masks neither. He's like, I'm telling you, baby, please. I'm listening. Screw you. If you hear her dialogue, she's like, you're just jealous because you're just mad because I got them the good masks and you didn't do that. That's why you're just calling. Admit that you're jealous. Come on. And she hangs up the phone. He's like, oh, crap.
I mean, if he had just picked up the kids when he was supposed to, because it was his weekend.
But he was having hot jailbait sex.
Well, no. Before that, he was doing his job, having a light affair with the nurse, to a random murder, to another car bomb murder, which we just gloss over that one. It's just like, oh, let me just go into my car. Like I thought he was like dousing himself in water, and then I saw a car blow up. I'm like, okay, that escalated.
That was not water. I misread everything in this situation.
Oh man,
I was wrong about every single thing that I saw happening here. Every single thing.
Yeah, that android was just like, if he had enough stealth and strength to like kill that random guy Harry so quickly and with such ease, why didn't he just kill everyone else? There was not that many people in the hospital.
Because that attracts way more attention, and it was really late in the game that this hairy guy got stumbled onto everything.
But a car blowing up doesn't signal any alarms.
By the time they figured it out, it was already too late. It took her like 3 days to figure out the whole thing with the car being blown up. Like, she still thought it was car parts, not an android part.
She couldn't find any evidence that there was a human being in the car.
It still took and it still takes you a while to be like, oh yeah, it's obviously a robot. Like, the hell, you never think it was a robot.
No, but the robot could have just killed everyone. He didn't have to blow himself up.
It reveals things in a very well-paced way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you don't learn too much too soon. It keeps you guessing.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a good mystery. Like, it's a whole bunch of different things going on. It's horror, it's sci-fi, it's mystery.
Wacky. It's very wacky. Yeah. It's so wacky.
This one is a departure from the original Halloween movies. Not just in like the obvious way, like you have no Michael Myers, but a departure in that there are explicitly supernatural elements to it.
Yeah.
Because what Carpenter has said about the original, what he said about the character Michael Myers is that what's scary about him is that he's almost supernatural. He's not quite there, but he can't like move things without touching them. He can't vanish into thin air. There's nothing explicitly otherworldly about him, but Like he just has this, he has this resilience about him that's inhuman. He has this resilience and this drive to just kill, to just murder. That just makes you doubt that there's a soul in there.
There was
So
nothing in those eyes, just evil. I spent years trying to keep him locked away. I didn't want him to escape. God damn you, Michael.
Oh, great! Another doctor that was terrible at
Thank
his
you,
job.
Dr.
I just
Loomis.
noticed.
Thank you, Dr. Loomis.
Thank you.
Anyway, but yeah, that's one move. That's one thematic move that this movie makes. That is like an additional step from the series roots. Is that it's sort of like, okay, no, there's rocks, they're old and they're magic. There's no bones about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, and I actually appreciated that one in this one because what I enjoyed was it does stick to Halloween. Like, even the kids buying the masks and all that stuff, like, I remember seeing, like, all these cool Halloween ads when I was a kid on TV. And even up until very recently, I still remember, like, kids wanting to be certain things every year for Halloween. Remember when in college everybody wanted to be the Joker for Halloween that year after Heath Ledger died? And once in a while, like, you'll still get people dressed up as certain specific things every year. God.
Particularly during election years.
Oh, God, I know.
Yeah. Coming, yeah.
Election years.
Yeah.
That's actually the scariest
time
of the season.
Yeah, like early 2000s, you had the George Bush masks, and right after 9/11, you had the Osama bin Laden masks.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
and I remember them getting banned too in schools. Like that was like the one mask that was officially like if you caught it, they caught you bringing it to school, it would be taken away, and you had to do detention if you brought it in. The bin Laden one, I was like,
yeah, pretty disrespectful. So I understand that.
Yeah, that was the only one. Like you could walk around with any mask. You couldn't wear the mask in school, but if the teacher dean saw you with it, they would just take it away. I'm like, whatever, right? Like you're an idiot. I'm confiscating this.
Right, yeah. Well, and this is kind of related to a high horse that you often you can get onto, Jack. It's not that horror fans just like relish in anything sick and dark. Like there are lines.
Yeah, there are lines.
Yeah, like go as a zombie, go as a fictional murderer. All of that is fine, but like to dress up as like an actual terrorist that was responsible for the death of thousands of Americans, like barely a month prior. Like, no, that's not okay. Yeah.
No, that's
also, that turnaround is crazy. Like, what made them think that was a good idea?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, they made money. People make money off of the dumbest things. Like, I'll be honest with you, not to get political here, but earlier this year, I found out that they were selling Trump cereal.
Come again?
I shit you not.
I love the themed products where the product has nothing to do with the theme. Like, there's just no way that you can make that work in a way that you could defend it.
You want to support?
What does the cereal have to do with Trump? It doesn't even make any sense.
Not at all. But the thing is, it's not even like endorsed. It's not even by Trump. Like Trump didn't make it. It's just somebody found probably a bunch of expired Cheerios and shit.
Yes.
And put it into a box and put it on the box is Trump's face.
Yeah, it's not made by the Trump Corporation.
Yeah, it's not made by the animals. It is his corporate. But like, there's people out there that selling you MAGA cereal, MAGA Crunch, and MAGA Cheerios, MAGA O's or whatever the hell Trump O's.
MAGA O's. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's funny though.
Why not need to sell maggots?
I don't effing know. That would be funnier. But they're selling you Trump cereal out there, and that's like,
has someone done that cartoon? Maggots. MAGA, it's MAGA. Someone's probably done that cartoon.
Someone probably has. But it's funny, like it's a thing out there and people buy it. That's what this one was also talking about. It's a consumerism. Like people run to buy
Right.
shit because they want to fit in and conform. So I guess
Right, and of course there's kind of a metaphor going on there where it's like Cochrane's is committing a literal human sacrifice by killing all the people that are wearing the masks and those around them, and in a sort of allegorical way, we are sacrificing our children to consumerism when we advertise to them, when we make all of these child targeted products. You know, that's me. That's me taking a shot at what John Carpenter is trying to say. That's not me necessarily saying that.
well, to my understanding, that's more or less what he was trying to say. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, the idea is the kids who might have survived this was the kid who went and painted something on his face and called it a day, not worn the silver shamrock mask.
Though, in defense of the ancient Celts, there's no good evidence that Samhain actually entailed any human sacrifices.
Yeah, see, this is where I actually wanted to ask you guys, because I've been trying
Sure.
to figure this one out. They tell you what Samhain was about, but you never find out how Samhain was actually celebrated. Just all you ever know is Samhain was the Irish Festival of the Dead. That was it. But there is no like idea or knowledge as to how it was celebrated. You just know it was celebrated, and that was it.
Right. Well, it's considered the Celtic New Year. So it was. So they divided the year into light and dark periods, and so like the year is split in two. There's the dark period, and there's the light period. And Samhain was the beginning of the dark period. And as far as the way that it was celebrated, I mean, it was a very long time ago. You know, the records aren't great. I guess we can only draw limited conclusions from the archaeological evidence. But the thinking is that that it was a time where it was believed that the barrier between the visible world and the invisible world was more permeable. It was thinner. So it was a time. It was a festival, likely 3 days. They're pretty sure of that. But it was supposedly believed that spirits and ghosts from the other world were able to come to our world and sometimes make some mischief. And one of the things that was done is that the Druids, who were the Celtic priest class, they would build these bonfires and heap upon the bonfires the bones of sacrificed animals. So there probably were animal sacrifices. And the thinking is that this was a way of appeasing the ghosts and spirits that would otherwise make trouble on that night. And there actually is still a costume connection going all the way back to the original festival. It's thought that people wore costumes made out of the hides of the animals, and sometimes even the heads, maybe. And them wearing costumes would disguise them from spirits that meant them harm. So there's some understanding of how it was done, but it is still kind of mysterious, again, because it was such a long time ago and the archaeology is limited. So
yeah, like there's nothing to officially confirm this is how it was done. There is a lot of speculation, a lot of people who celebrate it now, but the classical, original, traditional Samhain, we don't know too much. We just know what it was. And what's even more fascinating is, like, he even brings it up Cochran brings it up in the middle of the movie. He's like, "You might find a loved one from the other side next to you on the fire to warm himself. Happy Halloween," as he drops dead. I love that character. I'm sorry, like that is my favorite horror villain right now. I fucking love Connell Cochran. He's such a lovable, murderous bastard. I love it.
He is not lovable. He's literally the poster boy for filicide.
Nothing to worry. The whole thing's on me.
Oh man! All right, we're at that time. We're at that top of the hour now.
Yeah, the voice that you were just doing is the same voice that you do for Christopher Lee. I think Christopher Lee could have played that character. He would have been great. Tall, deep voiced, commands respect.
Murderous.
Murderous.
I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out someday that they approached Christopher Lee, and Christopher Lee must have looked at that script and said, "I have had enough of horror," and fucking threw it right back at them and told them to get the hell out.
I have had enough with this shit.
More or less, because he hated Dracula towards the end of his run, right? Like, he absolutely hated Dracula. Like, he wanted to grab a bat and hit every Dracula prop he could see. Because he was just so fed up with it, he didn't want to do it anymore. So I wouldn't be surprised.
What actually happened, though, is he took the bat, cracked it over his knee to make a wooden stake, and he stabbed every Dracula-themed thing that he could find.
See, there you go. That makes perfect sense. Because it's Christopher Lee. He's crazy.
Yeah. I read about this. Totally happened.
Of course it did. And
but so with Samhain, there are some Halloween-y aspects of it, like with the costumes, kind of the supernatural elements, certainly. But what we know as Halloween today is really kind of a patchwork of various traditions from various cultures that kind of all came together into just this spooky celebration with its own traditions and customs. It's a very American holiday in that way.
Yeah, now it is. But
yeah.
I still love it.
Even though the term Halloween does originate from the British Isles.
So that's the other question I have.
Yeah.
How does Samhain get mixed with St. Hallows Eve, with All Hallows Eve?
Right. So when the British Isles were being Christianized by the Romans, they had this strategy of aligning church holidays with established pagan festivals. So this is something that St. Patrick did when he first got there. And with Samhain, it was Pope Gregory IV in the 9th century who took All Saints' Day. It had been moved to November by, I think, Gregory III, but it was officially made into like a more general church holiday by Gregory the Fourth. And on All Saints' Day, that's when you reflect on the saints and martyrs that have passed on. And so kind of like similar themes of like, thinking about the dead, thinking about the other side and the supernatural elements. So thematically similar holidays. So what we can do is we can put that here and these pagans are already thinking about that kind of thing. So that's going to make it easier for them to get them on board with Christianity.
Gotcha. So basically,
so so Halloween is All Hallows Eve, and then you have All Saints Day, and then after that you have All Souls Day, and I believe All Souls Day is when you pray more generally for the souls of everyone who has died, and those 3 days together were known as Hallowtide.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, everybody, we are not just a podcast of insulting people. We learn things here.
We learned that yes, this is an educational podcast. Bring your kids, bring your grandkids,
and also bring "I hate Jamie Lee Curtis" bumper stickers to put on her car.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who does one, you get a free prize from the Ghastly Hallows.
You can bet.
You get a shout out from Punk and Jack personally.
So many disclaimers. So many. Yeah. But from what I've been able to glean, the word Halloween first appears in writing in the 18th century, and it was into the 18th century and in the 19th century, you had traditions in the British Isles that didn't really much involve thinking about ghosts that are wandering our world on this night only. You had the practice of fortune telling. So that's something that actually goes back to Samhain too. It was the Druids believed that when the barrier between the supernatural and natural worlds was thinner, that fortune telling would be easier. So in the 18th and 19th centuries, you have the practice of throwing nuts into the fire, cutting an apple in front of a mirror, and both of these were methods that girls would use to try to figure out who their husband was going to be. So with the apple, you would cut it up into 9 pieces, and I believe that you would eat each of the pieces, and by the time you got to the 9th piece, the face of your husband would appear in the mirror.
Hopefully, he was a good-looking man. Can you imagine getting that, and then some guy that looks like
a comic book guy?
Yep. You stole the term right out of my mouth. You imagine getting
worst fortune ever.
Oh boy!
I promise you, good audience, it will be at least a few more episodes before we do comic book guy bits again.
I mean, speak for yourself. I was hoping you should bring comic book guy around eventually because he's funny. I like comic book guy.
I liked it. Yeah.
But in all fairness, though, that's where I'm still there. Like, now we have a better idea as to how these things were celebrated, but for the longest time, like, you really didn't know. Like, it was just a very sort of like mysterious kind of thing. You look it up. There's not much. There's no real way of knowing how it's done. You just kind of know this is happening. This is how it's usually done. And good luck. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck to you, and hope for the best. But now we have a better idea as to how it's done, which I'm actually happy that we heard more about it, because I think the mystery of it is something that helps drive stories and fear of it, because there was one story I heard as a kid about, you probably have heard the story before yourselves, the mysterious masked man on Halloween, where it's like, you light the bonfire, people are celebrating, right, for the end of harvest, end of season, passing out treats and candy and hanging out. But then there's always that one person in the group who isn't saying anything. And when you go talk to that person just kind of nods and walks away. Nobody knows who it is, but the reality is that person is your friend who's not here anymore. You know? I don't know if you ever heard that one. Like, the person at the party is a ghost. That's why everybody wears masks, because you don't want, it gives them the time to walk in and walk out. and I've heard stories like that online too now, where it's like, yeah, we were at a Halloween party. I invited 5 people, but 6 showed up. Like, we had pictures of like 7 people at a 6
Creepy.
people event.
Yeah.
And what? how is that? But that's another scary stories of Reddit for another day. At this moment, I just have to go back to Final Conquered. Fuck the kids.
Yeah. There's in some of the reading that I've done, there's like a whole field of Halloween scholarship, like studying the history of Halloween. And I mean, pretty much anything that has happened, there's going to be a field of scholarship on it, which is pretty cool. We should think about like trying to get one of those, like a Halloween scholar on the podcast.
Do you know any?
I don't, not personally, but I mean, it's a relatively niche field of study, so they shouldn't be that difficult to get in touch with.
I would like to talk to somebody who knows that.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, there's a really good book called "Death Makes a Holiday," which is about the cultural history of Halloween. David Scull is the author. I can try to maybe look him up.
I'm already trying because my stalker abilities are that good. Oh, we can't track him down.
We can?
We can't now.
Oh, is he dead?
Yep.
Oh, he is dead. Oh my gosh, he died this year.
Yeah. Wow.
What?
Okay.
This year is full of surprises, but yeah, I think we've.
Oh, he died on the first of this year. Oh, that's disappointing. Oh,
that's crazy.
Well, raise a glass to
David
Scull. He's the guy that I got a lot of what I was saying about Samhain on. So
wow. Yeah, I'm like over here going like, wait a minute, maybe we can reach out to this guy, and it's like, oh, wow, and it's even darker how he went. Okay, yeah.
What happened?
Arrested, car accident.
Oh right, goodness!
Traffic
collision. All right, now on that note, we need to wrap up.
All right, now on that note, fuck them kids. Get victory to Colonel Cochran and Halloween.
Rest in peace. Yes. Rest in peace, David Scull. We'll talk more about that book later sometime.
Yes, when we have time to read a book, because lately it's been tough. And you had to do with he was on the commentary for Freaks. Oh. Gay cultural
focus.
Oh,
focus.
This would have been so cool. Let me look up over here.
Well, I'll look up some of the people that he cites in that book.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that now. God damn it. Now I'm upset. When you find out about somebody you really wanted to pick their brains, now they're not here anymore. And then, rest in peace, sir. That's all I can say now. We are ending this on a somber note. So before we go on a somber note, I do just want to point out one more thing. Do you guys think... How do I put this? Do you guys think this plan would have been successful today in this day and age?
Yeah.
Really? You think people would buy a bunch of viral masks like that?
Oh, absolutely. It probably won't go the way that you expected. I think we'll probably get a lot more of people, not just kids. Like, say, I'm not sure if he would amend his plans to include for that, but yeah, I can see this happening in today's age, just in a different.
The only difference is that the person selling the masks would be a TikTok influencer.
Exactly.
And the broadcast would be on TikTok. That's what would happen.
I plead the fifth on
because I do, and who knows who's going to come after me on this, but I do not put anything past TikTok.
I plead the fifth on that, as I am a TikToker at this point.
Oh, that's right. Oh, this is good. Well, you can talk crap about TikTok on TikTok.
Yeah, they don't care, but I just want everybody to know I ain't the one that's going to be selling the murderous masks. I don't have that kind of pockets. All right? To be producing them, stealing pieces of Stonehenge, all that is just way, way, way out of my budget. I am very happy just telling people to go throw eggs at someone I don't like's car, and just being a very miserable sad sack for the rest of my days. That's as far as I can be. But although I honestly think that if this were to happen, only one side of the world would be affected before everybody else took off the masks. Personally. Because it doesn't hit, Halloween doesn't, it's not midnight or 10 o'clock giveaway the same hour in every part of the world.
Well, but it's it's the same time. It's just not the same. It's just not the same hour on the clock for everyone.
But he's advertising it all at the same time, isn't he?
I mean, I would assume that he was like, when they advertise, like watch the vice presidential debate. It's going to be at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 7 Mountain.
Yeah, like that
6,
in America would fly, but when Halloween
kind of
is
thing, yeah.
hitting in like the UK, for example, I
Right.
don't think it would. I think like if America gets hit first, then the UK is gonna be like, all right, everybody, throw those masks in the fucking trash. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like, are the UK kids gonna be like watching at whatever it is, like 4 in the morning over there?
They're not watching.
Yeah.
They're like long home and partying. It's over. But at least like I think the American kids would have been the ones that were screwed.
Right.
In that one.
Well, maybe it was only American kids that he was trying to play the prank on. Like I said, it is a very American holiday. America, Halloween, fuck yeah.
Come again, save the motherfucking day, yeah.
America.
Fuck yeah. Fuck
Freedom
you, Mariah
is-
Carey.
No. Candy
Oh,
is
no.
the only way, yeah.
Mariah Carey, your game is through, and now you have to answer to Halloween. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I had a mic.
So
Like,
trick
running to
or
the
treat
people.
and smell my feet, yeah. Halloween.
Fuck
Fuck
yeah. Well, it's true. Because after this is over, after October 31st, you gotta get ready to hear that kaiju awaken out of the Pacific Rim to come and wreak havoc on the cities of man for like the next fucking 60 days. I don't want a lot for Christmas. I just want you to shut up. Everybody kneel before me. I am the evil Queen Mariah.
Halloween can never come too soon, but Christmas can.
Oh yeah,
Hold
I hate
on.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes. So, final thoughts on this film. What do you guys think of this one? Not everybody at once.
Irishmen be crazy.
Both.
Yeah, I think you said it enough this broadcast.
Quiet, you drunk. Homer.
As the drunken thing continues, it's more of just the same as we've been saying in the beginning of this broadcast. Fuck them kids. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, fuck them kids. That's. Oh man, I love this movie. I know like it doesn't get that much love from a lot of people. They're still sitting there like, you know what? I don't understand why anybody likes that movie because after all, doesn't have anything to do with Michael Myers. Well, that's the point. It doesn't have Michael Myers in it again for like the millionth time, getting beaten up by. You know what? I'm gonna monologue this one. It doesn't have Michael Myers getting beaten up by Busta Rhymes. It doesn't have Michael Myers suddenly randomly choosing to kill a person that was his sister, as per decided in the sequel. This one is just about Halloween and the evil tricks that people play because simply and very sincerely and very hopefully and honestly, fuck those kids. So, that was this week's episode of the Ghastly Hallows, where we repeat, fuck them kids, as Conor Cochran said. And I hope everyone out there has gotten a good start to their spooky season and has going to have a very, very